Make sure to stand till the end. If you do one thing wrong, you will develop the same oil leak again and you have to do the job over and over again. Hey guys, welcome back to How to Repair guys. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing to the channel. Today will be super helpful video to any of you guys having a Dodge Charger 3.6 VVT engine, and if you need to remove valve cover gasket, you have oil leak from the valve cover gasket guys, from the valve covers, and you need to replace them. Stay with us, we'll explain how to do that step by step. Common mistakes people make that can actually cause another oil leak, and it may require the gasket replaced again. So all that will be covered in this video today. Before we start, let me tell you a little bit about us. Every single car we get here at the garage, we try to make guys at least 200 to 300 free repair videos. On that Dodge Charger we'll have even more. Why we do that? Because our mission in the shop is to save you as much money as we can. All we need guys in return, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, that way we can keep making these free videos, absolutely free. And if you guys need to buy any parts, tools for your Dodge Charger or any car, you want to get them at a good price and quick shipping, you want to save money, check out the link in the description of the video below. That's where we get all our tool supplies from, and we'll share where you can find even additional things. So what do we have here specifically now? You can see we're going to pull that upper engine cover. It attaches with 4 rubber bushings. You just grab it with your hands guys and you just pull it straight out. It attaches right here to those posts, okay, you can see, and one here and here as well. So now we need to remove that intake hose. Needs to come out. 8mm socket, we pre-loosen that clamp. Now right here, okay, there is one more. Towards the throttle body. That sensor is for the intake air temperature sensor, disconnected. Right here there is one rubber bushing that needs to come out. You pull it out, it comes like that. That intake hose is out. Next, let's see what else we have. Quite a few things. So if you look guys, we need to disconnect, okay, we need to disconnect these cables, okay, to make sure that they're not holding there. Perfect. And we just dropped our tool. So what do we need to do next? Right here, that's the throttle body. You need to disconnect, we need to disconnect the wires. So we'll go ahead, push the connector in to release the pressure. That red thing needs to come to the back. Grab only for the plastic part, do not pull on the wires ever, because you can pull them out of the connector. So you can see, press here and disconnect it. Right there now we have one, okay, clip that came out. You can see just like that, and there is one more that's supposed to attach right here, but it came loose. Next, that's the map sensor. So same thing, red thing needs to come back, press down, disconnect. Came out. One hose. This is for the purge control valve. Let's pry it up. Okay, we pry that hose up, it comes out. This is a brake line, the brake booster hose, vacuum hose. We disconnect that one. Now this hose, you can disconnect it either from the intake manifold or the PCV valve. We recently removed the PCV valve, so it will be easy there. Right here, okay, we have one more connector. One second, let me go ahead and get that. Right there, okay, you grab that thing, you come like that, came out, perfect. Here, 10mm guys, 10mm, we're going to remove that nut. So that's pretty easy, don't drop it. We'll explain how we can easily destroy your engine, okay, when you work on that part. So that will be stuck here. But if you come towards the bottom now, towards the back, excuse me, there is one more nut. 2 nuts. So we remove both of them. That's great. Right there, towards the bottom, there is back one bolt. That's hard for me to show you. But we need to get a 13mm wrench, okay, and that bolt we'll need to pre-loose. It's a nut. Okay, we pre-loosen the nut. Now, if we pre-loosen it a little bit more, it goes by hand at that point. Let's see if it will be enough for us. Okay, for the thing to come out, or it does not, or we'll need to just go ahead and remove it all the way. Let's check. So I'm removing it now. I think it's a stud. Okay, it's working. or we can clear enough space. Perfect, that's it. We came out, we grab that thing. That mount, it has a cable on it, we can just flop it there on the side. Now, what else we have? Let's investigate here. We need to go ahead and we have 10mm here, 2 nuts that hold the intake manifold to these metal brackets. Perfect, we're almost out with those. Careful not to drop the nut, it's a little bit of a limited room, but you should be able to do it easily. Great. Next, we go on the other side. A little more there as well. That's great. Next, what do we have here, guys? Okay, we need to disconnect a few more things and remove a few more bolts. We need to start in a cross pattern. Let's start from the inside going towards the outside, kind of like an X pattern. That's how you're supposed to remove it, so you don't actually, guys, okay, you don't cause any wrapping. Nothing will be like will be uneven, because those are plastic intake manifolds and you can damage them. So there is a specific stance. Okay, so we start from the inside in a cross pattern and go towards the outside. Perfect. Let's see where the one is. Not there. Okay, right there. Yep. Keep going. Right there. Perfect. Now we have one of them. Let's see if we removed all of them. If everything is loose, now we can grab that intake manifold. Okay, it needs to come towards this side because we have 2 metal brackets there. So lift it on the left and pull it out. Okay, and upper intake manifold came out. Common mistake people make here now, they don't replace the gasket, and every time you remove it, it's recommended to replace these gaskets. They're super easy to replace and they're not expensive at all. If you don't, you can develop vacuum leaks. The engine will start getting extra air. It may not even start. It may be revving up, unstable, idle. It can cause lean codes, give you codes for bad oxygen sensors, and that later can actually lead to bad catalytic converters as well. Another thing, make sure you don't drop anything. You drop something here, you're going to destroy your engine, guys, because you will start it, it will go to the valves, maybe bend the valve. From there it can get in the cylinders and destroy your piston, engine box, cylinder head, and the whole engine will be shot. So make sure that you don't drop anything, guys, okay, inside. So I'll recommend, if you're working on it, just cover it here. Now that foam piece was supposed to be here, okay, some of you will have it, some will not. We just bought it to replace it because it wasn't on that dot charger, but you will see where it will be. So that's how we remove the upper intake manifold. So we'll just cover it like that to make sure that nothing gets there and we don't drop anything, but still be extremely careful. So what we need to do next, right here we have the variable timing actuators. We need to disconnect them. Don't yank on the wires, pull for the connector, guys, because okay, those wires, if you pull them out, you can actually develop problems later. Disconnect the wiring harness, just gently pull them out. One more here. Okay, if you pull one on the bolt right there, towards the back, one here. Here we need to disconnect the camshaft position sensor. We have a video how to test camshaft position sensor, so check it out. Okay, ignition coils now next. Perfect. Here we need to disconnect the wiring harness again. Okay, few injectors we don't need to disconnect, but there is one more wiring harness here that we need to pull. If you want, you can remove the injectors, but it's not necessary, guys. Okay, perfect. Everything should be loose on this side. That bracket, we already got it loose for the upper intake manifold, so that's perfect. That will give us a lot of room. We'll see if, I don't remember on this model specifically, if the PCV valve needed to be removed. In order to do that, we'll test it. But let's go ahead and remove the two variable timing actuators on the front. Okay, and these actuators will be with 3 bolts with Torx 25 star looking bit. So we need to go ahead and just get those loose. Perfect. So here it's required to replace the gaskets for the camshaft actuators as well. They have different gaskets, guys. Okay, that is a good thing to always replace them. So we're going to keep the bolts here in one place so we know where they go later. Make sure you remember the position at which those actuators are, so you need to install them exactly the same way. Okay, gasket is right here. Pull that gasket. This gasket will need to be replaced as well. So we're removing 3 more on the other side, and you will see what else we have here. Now while we're doing that, right here you have the plastic post for that intake hose where it connects, so I'm going to unscrew that one. Perfect, that way we do it faster and we don't waste your time. Once we remove that one, we'll need to remove the ignition coils in a second. Perfect, second one is out. So ignition coils are with 10mm socket. We need to remove 3 bolts. Okay, one more after that. Perfect, camshaft position sensor right here on the back. Okay, this one is Torx 30, a little bit bigger. So let's do that one now. Okay, working on that specific thing now. Comes in an angle. There is a gasket here that will need to be replaced as well. This is the PCV valve. Let's go ahead and remove it. I recommend, if your vehicle is higher mileage, replace it. PCV valves are something that most people will never replace. If you check your service manual, it will say how many miles you need to change those, replace them. They're cheap. And one thing, guys, if they fail, they can cause multiple things such as smoking from the exhaust, increased oil consumption, build up in the engine like sludge on the inside. Multiple things can be caused. Vacuum leaks, it can simulate vacuum leaks. You can develop rough idle, unstable engine operation just because of one little bitty PCV valve that costs probably, I don't know, but it's very, very cheap, and I always recommend replacing them, and I always do them on my own cars. I do them usually on every 50 to 60,000 miles, but check your service manual for your specific vehicle. So you can see it came out. This is, guys, your PCV valve. That's what it looks like. The valve is right here. Let's see if I can. Yep, perfect. Next, what we need to do, we need to get 8mm socket, and with that 8 deep, it needs to be a deep socket because we have a couple bolts here, studs that we need to remove, and one towards the back as well, and those we need to go ahead and pre-loosen. We'll start from the inside and go in a, okay, it's pretty tight. We'll go in a cross pattern, okay? Yeah, that way you will you have nice distribution of torque. So we're going to start from the middle, go towards the outside in kind of like an X pattern. So let's do that and see if it's going to work. Perfect one. to working on this one. We have the torque specs for the valve covers on the channel. If you need help with that, check it out, it will teach you all about that. So we're going to pre-loosen them here. Perfect. Okay, working on this thing now. Perfect. We're going to go ahead. Let's see if anything else is here. We might have the wire a little bit in the way here, where the oil dipstick is, so it's going to come in a certain angle. You have to be careful because you have two. Okay, let's see if it looks like something's still holding. One more bolt. We have magnetic wheels on the camshafts there, guys. Okay, you need to be careful not to damage them. That's where the camshaft is from, and don't get any magnetic tools. Okay, it comes in a specific angle. Perfect. Any magnetic tools close to these wheels, because if you do, guys, okay, you can see this is magnetic wheel, you can actually mess the magnetic field. It can weaken, and the camshaft position sensors will not be reading correctly, and that can, guys, okay, be catastrophic. Okay, you need quite a bit of work to fix that. So you can see valve cover came out just like that. So once you remove the valve cover, the gasket is pretty easy. You just grab it, guys, you pull it out. Now on some models it could be really like if yours is higher mileage, it could be really old, flattened, really hard, and it can even break and come out in pieces. That's not the only gasket you need to replace. You need to replace the gaskets for the spark plugs here, because otherwise you can develop leaks right here around the spark plugs. Another thing, you need to replace the gaskets for the variable timing actuators, and you need to replace the gasket for the PCV valve right here. You can see that's another gasket that you will need to take care. Now on top, let me flip it right here. This is the camshaft position sensor gasket. That one needs to be replaced. And you have two spots on your engine. Let's explain now. Right here, where the timing cover meets the cylinder head, where the two metal parts meet, you have silicone. Okay, and you have silicone here as well. We cleaned one of them. You need to clean it really good. Wipe where the gasket will be contacting the cylinder head and the silicone with rubbing alcohol to make sure it's not greasy. Use the gray gasket maker, that's the original gasket maker, practically the gray color, and apply a little bit of bead right here, and then install the valve cover. We'll have the torque specs for the valve cover. If you need help with that, it will be on the channel, guys. Valve cover torque specs on dot charger. Hopefully the video will be helpful to any of you needing help with that. Thank you for watching and see you next time.